Good afternoon and welcome to Chit Chat with the Journey Sisters. I am going to go right into it and let Janelle introduce herself. We're going to let our guest introduce herself second because she's going to be the middle and the center of attention today. Without any further ado, go right ahead, Janelle.
Well, hello, guys. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chit Chat with the Journey Sisters. And I am the co host of Alicia Alexander. And my name is Janelle Drayton. And of course, I am your life fulfillment coach. I believe in a purpose driven life, a life where we live it on purpose for a purpose. And I believe that God has given us this platform to help so many other people find their place. And like we said, we are all on a journey, and you're going to get an opportunity to share that journey with us today. I am so super excited to be here. Alicia, I'm excited for you having me once again. I must have done something good last show because you invited me back again, guys. I have been on Miss Alicia's show for 1 year. And we're not going to get
Oh
into
man.
details about the things that she say about me, but I'm just super excited to be here and even more excited about our guest today. So, Jasmine, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Who are you?
I am Jasmine Duffy. I'm an entrepreneur. I wear so many different hats. I do motivational speaking. I'm really a spoken word artist, but the way that I do it, you can call it motivational speaking. I'm an audio engineer and a producer, and I'm
Awesome.
just so
Wow.
glad to be here. And
Wow.
I'm
Awesome.
sorry, the most important part of it, I'm completely blind.
Wow.
Awesome. No, I'm saying awesome, not because you're completely blind, but people don't understand the power that has been given to us. That even if we are in a situation, that situation does not control us, does not define us. So
Absolutely.
it is beautiful and it's awesome to be here this afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
And
Thank you for having me.
you are so welcome. And I am your host, Alicia Alexander. I am your forgiveness coach. Forgiveness is what I would call an acquired taste. It is necessary. It is not the easiest thing to come by. But in order to have that fulfilling life, in my opinion, one of the things that's needed for success is forgiveness. I work with individuals who have been traumatized, who have been through a situation, who think that they're the only ones that are going through it. So let them know that there is a way out. Your way might be different. You might have a different, end result. But for me, forgiveness is what freed me, and I am willing to share that with you. So we're going to get into this afternoon's program, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. This week was a tiring week for me.
Yeah.
It was. And I got up this morning struggling to get out of bed because my left side was hurting. My left shoulder was hurting. And I'm not going to put it on age. It is not age.
I'm going to put it on
It is,
age.
no, I'm not going to put it on age. I'm not going to, I am not claiming that at all. But I know it has to do with the fact that I am tired physically, emotionally, mentally, because there's so much that I think I have to accomplish. There's so much that I'm trying to, not to prove anything. And everything that I'm trying to do it in quietness. However, despite the fact that I had a challenging week and I kept going, every time I had the opportunity to sit back and get a moment for myself, rather than getting on my phone or anything, I took that time to close my eyes and really reflect.
Mhm.
And in my reflection time, I found myself going to the topic for today. My silence is not quiet. My silence is not quiet.
Mm, 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 mm.
And I kept trying to figure out, where did I hear the word quiet for the first time?
Mm.
And I've read somewhere that statistics says in the first 7 years of a child's life, that's the learning moment where they're like sponge and they absorb everything. And I keep trying to remember, where did I hear the word quiet and how often or when did I use it? And I realized I was told to be quiet so many times that quietness was taught to me.
Mm.
And because of that quietness, I got into a cocoon of silence. And whatever I was going through or dealing with in life growing up, I always reverted to be quiet, stay in that silent place. That even when I got to the point where I was being traumatized, I stayed silent, I stayed quiet. But all the time I was there, I had that internal voice. I am going to say something one of these days. I am going to do something. I am going to help somebody. I'm going to tell somebody, because everybody else around me seemed to be speaking. Why is it that I can't talk too? And for those who haven't been on the show before, or might be the first time hearing, I was abused. And with that abuse brought quietness, brought silence, brought shame, brought embarrassment, took me from a place of where, I don't know, I might have been I don't know, performer on stage, you know. I might have been an actress, I might have been whatever it is, but it put me in a place where I didn't want to speak. I didn't have a voice. And the thing about that is you learn to grow up and you learn to live and you learn to get over things and you learn to move on, but you wear that internal scar. A scar that you can easily, deal with on your own. You think you could deal with it on your own because nobody else is seeing it. It's okay. And you stay in that quiet place and you stay in that silence. But I always knew that my silence wasn't quiet. There was something else inside of me that there was more. And although at that time it seemed like a cruel situation, it wasn't that bad in the sense that I was being put in that place for today, that I can be a voice for somebody, that I can help somebody. And people can be so cruel when they realize that you've been through something, that and even if they don't realize that you've been through something, they look at you and they want to judge you. It must have been so and so why she behaved the way she behaved. It must be so and so why is it that she talked the way she talked, or the way, not really knowing. And even that just even push you further. I don't know if Janelle can relate to this. I don't know if Jasmine, but somebody out there can relate to what I'm saying.
Alicia, I relate to you. That's why I'm so happy to be your co-host. I think this platform is so important. Like I've mentioned on so many other shows, we're not just doing this because we ain't got nothing to do. Like you, I've had a very, very challenging week. I've been completely under the weather. And I physically could not get out of my bed for about 3 days because of the physical pain that my body was actually going through. But when you understand purpose and you realize that you have a responsibility, we have a responsibility to helping people. We're committed to the vision of really helping people. And I mean, Jasmine, I'm so excited to hear your story. I want to give you as much time as possible because it's people like you that motivate and inspire the world. And it gives us the reason for actually creating this platform. Alicia saw the need. And Jasmine, you won't believe it, but she used to be quiet. She's the loudest thing in my life. I'm going to be quite honest with you. Sometimes I wish that quiet person would come back. But she ain't quiet no more, Jasmine. Don't let that fool you, girl. But anyway, just being able to touch somebody's life. And, I know that today's show isn't even about me, about the hats that I wear. The only thing that I'm concerned about is how can I help you find your purpose? And I want to say, just looking at you, Jasmine, just meeting you for the first time a couple of years ago, and just being in awe of the woman of God that you have become, the person that you are, the sought after talent that you actually possess. I mean, everyone that's watching this show, I'm gonna give you like 2 minutes. I need you to share this. I need you to invite somebody on this show. I need you to let them know that they need to tune in right now. We know you will have the replay, but there's something that's going to be released in today's show that is really going to hit you where you need to be hit the most. And it's going to really activate something on the inside of you. Because one of the things that I keep hearing in my spirit right now is, what is your excuse?
Yeah.
Jasmine said that the most important thing is that she's blind. And I'm going to let her elaborate on it. But look at all the many different hats she's wearing. Alicia have found a way to forgive. Forgiveness is, look, I maybe need to come to you, Alicia, because I ain't there yet. I really, I ain't there yet. And I'm not afraid to say that I need help, but that is what this is about. We're not telling you that we're perfect. We're not telling you that we don't struggle, that we don't go through things. But what we are telling you is that God is able. And if he can do it for us, and if he can take us from the mess that we've been through and given us a message, and we found our purpose in our pain, he can do it for you too. And what is your excuse? So, Jasmine, come on and take us off.
No, Jana, before Jasmine jump in, I want to say something.
Yes.
When I met Jasmine about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I never heard of Jasmine. But I saw her and I thought about my son. Jasmine is really tall. And when I saw her perform, I thought to myself, my scars are internal, hers is external.
Yeah.
So she's dealing with not only having the height and people probably saying certain things to her, but the fact that she's totally blind, that's another scar again. But not a scar in a negative way. It is a process to get through, but a scar in the sense that you can see it. You don't know what else I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
However, I am using it for the better. I'm using it to bless somebody else. So I just wanted to, and I saw her, and my spirit was like, okay, what I'm dealing with, I can hide. She can't hide that. There must be something behind, the strength to overcome, to be able to get up and get out and do what I do on a regular basis. So I just wanted to add that piece to it, Jasmine, because I saw and I admire you from the get-go, not even knowing you. So the platform is yours to tell your story, to do whatever it is that is necessary to let our viewers know that, listen, you're not alone. I've been there, I'm going through it, but guess what? I'm using it for the better.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Again, everybody, my name is Jasmine Duffy. I'm so honored to be here, man. Like, and it's crazy that you say that when you met me a few weeks ago that, like, I inspired you from the jump. Like, really, that's the main reason I get out my bed every morning. Like, I get up because at the end of the day, I realize that the things I went through aren't for me. It's for somebody else. And if I can get up and show them that despite my blindness, despite everything that I've been through, I can still keep going, then I feel like me doing it will let them know that they can do it too. Because at the end of the day, there are no excuses. Like, you just, you take things that you go through in life and you figure out a way to deal with them. Like, basically, so with the title of today's show, I can't relate to your silence, but when it came to my silence as a kid, my silence was with God, basically. So I was going to church, and what I was taught was, when you go through things, that you're not supposed to question God, right? Like, that's what I gathered from being in the church. So that's where my silence came into play. So I agree when you said a child's youngest years are their most vulnerable. That's when you can teach them the most. That's when their minds are so easily controlled. So with mine, I was like, I literally the fear of God was implanted in me, you know. But when I became an adult, I realized that the fear of God can't be placed in you, because God and fear are God is not a fear, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I was going through things as a young person. I was going through things, and I was so afraid to ask God, like, why am I going through this? Because you're sitting in church, and you know, some people teach the Bible differently. So I was so infatuated with the book of Job, and what I was taught was that Job didn't question God when he was going through these things. Job didn't question God. Job didn't question God. So I was so afraid. I was going through things. I was such an amazing basketball player. I was one of the top female basketball players in the nation. And I knew, like, well, I thought that was my meal ticket. Like, I knew in the back of my mind that me playing ball was how I was going to feed my family, how I was going to take care of my parents, how I was going to take care of my siblings. And then one day it would just snatch from me, right? So I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. You built me to be this amazing player. You send me out to school, and you know, this is really the most important time of my career, and you take basketball. So I try to make it make sense, because I'm afraid to question him. I try to make it make sense. And, you know, I was like, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to be a basketball player. Maybe I'm supposed to be a coach and give my talent to somebody else's child, you know. And then I go into an eye surgery, and I went completely blind. And it was in that moment, like, I was completely silenced, because I didn't know anything else. Like, I knew basketball was me. So I was completely silenced. My voice was completely taken, because I couldn't go to God and be like, why are you taking me through this? Well, I thought I couldn't. And that made me angry. You know, it made me so angry, because like, when it came to my dad, I could go and ask him anything, right? So if you're telling me you're supposed to be my father, why can't I question you? You know what I'm saying? In my most vulnerable times. And it kind of made me pull away. It made me pull away. Like, my faith had dropped, and you know, I was silent, because I didn't have a plan B. And my plan B definitely wasn't to learn how to live life all over again, being blind, you know? So I I actually just became rebellious one day. I became rebellious one day, and I was like, what I'm doing not working. Me not being able to talk to this man, it's not working. So I was angry, silent one day, angry, and just I had tore up my room, and something finally was like, just talk to him, just ask him,
Mm-hmm.
because what you're doing is not working. So
Mhm.
I asked God, like, why me? And when he replied, it kind of shook me. Like, you know, like, because what we're not taught in as a child is that God's voice is internal. You're not waiting for this cloud man to answer you. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So when he talks to you, it hits you different, because he's speaking through you. You know, so when I asked him, I was like, God, why me? I'm punching and everything. He said, why not you? And he asked, what makes you think that you're worthy enough to be exempt from having to prove your faith to me? And that's when I knew that God was going to use me.
Wow.
Like, yeah, he
Wow.
started talking to me in a way, it shook me.
You see, I'm about
Right
criteria.
there, Jasmine, right there before you get into any more. I want you to, I want that to settle in you. I know Miss Alicia is just going through, you know, drying her tears and all of that. I don't want our viewers and our listeners to miss the most important thing that you've said. And forgive me if I ask you to rewind and go back. It's because what you're saying and your testimony and the story that you're sharing is so life changing. Now, you mentioned going in for an eye surgery.
Hmm.
So it's like an eye surgery that went completely wrong.
Absolutely.
That hits home to me because my daughter just had an eye surgery on both of her eyes 3 days ago. 3 days ago, she had a surgery that was done on both of her eyes that is not even FDA approved. It's
Mm,
still in the it's still in the beginning phases where they're testing it. And so she was like a lab rat, so to speak. It was
yes.
an experimental process for her. And they were just trying it. So hearing you say that, really, it really hit me in some type of way. So I feel that overwhelmingness of emotion, just like Alicia, like, oh my God, my daughter just had an eye surgery on both eyes about 3, 4 days ago. What if it was a surgery that went wrong? So I want you
Absolutely.
to take us to the night before when you were able to see, and
Hmm.
then going into that surgery and then finding out that you may never see again. Like, what was that emotion? Like, what were you feeling? And everything that you said is quite understandable, and it's expected because we're all human. But take us back to what you were really feeling the day before and the day after.
Oh my God, I remember it like it was yesterday. So actually, I was in I was in 10th grade and I lost the sight in my right eye, right? So my entire basketball career, I I was successful with just one eye. So from 10th grade, I was only, I only had the vision in my left eye, right? So I go to college and I had started to notice that the vision in my left eye was just dimming, so I was like, when I would be walking home from class, I was like, it ain't even dark out here, but my vision is kind of tinting. So I called my dad. He came up. I went to school at Middle Tennessee State, so he came to get me, took me to the doctor, and the doctor says, "This is a simple fix." He was like, "It's scar tissue. This is simple fix. It's as simple as going in and sticking something to a piece of paper and pulling it up." Right? And he say, out of this eye, actually what he told me, you will be able to see better than you've ever seen before. Like those were the words he said to me. You will be able to see better than you've ever seen before. Right? Which is true, just not physically. So I went into surgery, um, and I woke up. He took the patch off and he was like, "What do you see?" And I'm like, nothing. Like this is a joke, because I knew my sister was to my left, my parents were to my right, and I knew the doctor was in the room somewhere, but all I could hear were their voices. And I was like, I did just have surgery, so maybe tomorrow everything will be better. And that's also what the doctor thought, because if something went wrong in surgery, he didn't mention it that day. So we go home and he's like, give it a few days, uh, put these drops in, give it a few days, and we're gonna try again. So I go back to the doctor, and that's when he was like, I don't know. Like he said, I don't know why you can't see. Like, so those words were kind of like, it was like deaf to my ears. Like after he said that, I really don't remember the conversation he had between with my dad. I really don't remember that conversation because all I heard was you're blind.
Mhm.
Like, and I don't know why. So I go home and I remember playing it cool. I didn't react. And I'm sure that made my dad really nervous. So I didn't react. So I went home, I was calm. I called my best friend, I called my sisters. So I went home and I remember my mom giving me a hug. My dad just, went to do his own thing. And I remember I went in the bathroom and I started punching through the wall. I literally started punching, punching, punching. because that was the only way I could get how I was feeling out. Because again, I couldn't question God. Right? That's all I could think. I can't question this man, but I'm angry. And I had to let it out some way. And I remember my mom calling my sister, Javonda, and she said, like, my sister don't cry. She don't cry, right? So I remember getting on the phone with her and she was crying. And she said, you done made me upset. She said, I need you to get up and get it together because now you got me crying and I don't cry. And that's when I knew, like, I had to be strong for everybody because nobody wanted to see me go through that at the end of the day.
So, forgive us if we're sniffling and everything, Jasmine.
Oh no.
It's heartbreaking to hear that you had to go through that pain. But I'm so happy that you found a way to talk to God, to talk to your Heavenly Father,
Oh yes.
to have that conversation, and you listen to hear his reply.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell us, I know that you've been through multiple periods of pain
Yes.
and loss in your life. Like
Mm-hmm.
you've been through, Jasmine. So the fact that you're sitting there is definitely a miracle in itself. Just talk about the loss that you've experienced, like, because we want to know, we're looking at this finished product.
Mm-hmm.
How did you survive?
Jana, before Jasmine even talk about her survival, I'm listening to her story. And again, hers is external. It's external and it's a pain that she did not know how to handle at the time. The best way she knew was to go in and punch a wall.
Mm-hmm.
She did not want to question God because of what she was taught as a child.
Yep.
And I can relate to that, not punching the wall, but I didn't want to question him. And there are many of us who don't want to question him. And she has the support of her family, her sister is there for her parents are there for her. There are a lot of people who don't have that support, who don't talk about it. You can't see what they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And they go through life wearing the hats that we talked about before, putting on that mask that we talked before, and not dealing with it at all, or going through life not having that fruitful relationship or that success. And when we talk about success, I'm not talking about success in terms of money. I'm talking about success in terms of living on purpose, doing the things you want to do, because nobody knows what you're dealing with.
Yep.
Nobody knows what you don't want to question God. You don't want to talk to anybody about it. You just deal with it and sweep it on the carpet. And most families just sweep it on there and life goes on. Let's just live.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So for Jasmine, her story is external and internal. But for many of us, and for you, Janelle, you being a pastor's child, that was a different type of trauma. And all of us have a story. All of us have these experiences and deal with it differently. So us coming together to let the world know, to let our audience know that your story is different, but your story is your story. And your story has a happy ending, can have a happy ending if we would just, it's not easy. None of it is easy.
No,
But
it
if
isn't.
we would just take the time to say, you know what, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to deal with it. And I heard Jasmine also say, I had to be strong for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why that happened to her and not to me.
Absolutely.
There's a reason why your story is unique. I have to be strong for everybody. And I can relate to that too. I have to be strong for everybody. But at some point in time, you have to say, you know what? I have to deal with what's going on. I have to face up to it. I have to not get over it, because you'll never get over it. But how can I use it to influence somebody else? How can I use to let them know it's okay? There's a reason behind it. Don't be defeated by it. Jasmine,
Yes, ma'am.
tell your story.
So
I don't know how else to say it.
so basically, like, when I was going through things, to piggyback off of what you said, like a lot of people don't have that support when they going through. And I'm like, with your situation, a lot of families, like, you were abused as a child. A lot of families go against the victim. So yes, me having my family was one of the most important things, because, and I say that to say, my family was really all I had. Because every friend I had in that moment left.
Mm,
So when I say that there was silence, and I mean, I ran with the girls on the basketball team, so I'm very popular, like everybody called me to go out, everybody, I was that person. And then nothing, like, and like, so you going through this stuff and you reaching out to people, the phone calls stop, they stopped answering, and really I didn't want nothing. I didn't want nothing from nobody. All I wanted was, come on, Jazz, get up, Jazz. Come on, Jazz, get up, Jazz. I'm here with you, Jazz. Like, it wasn't all you really need is support when you're going through stuff like that. So fast forward, I lose my sight. And I'm learning to deal with that as a person, just that thought that I was supposed to be in the WNBA. I'm gonna be honest, I thought I was gonna play in the NBA. I was like, I'm too good for the girls. I'm gonna play in the NBA. So I, like, as somebody who thought that, and then now nothing. Because again, like I said, I didn't have a plan B. Like, my plan A was basketball, and I was gonna do whatever I had to do, including playing with one eye, to make it there. So that happens. I go blind. I lose all my friends. Uh, the college that I was at snatched my scholarship. Um, I'm at home. I don't know how to use my phone. Don't know how to use my computer. Don't know how to get around by myself, and I'm I'm just quiet. I'm silent because I didn't know what else to be. Right. So after the conversation, with my sister, I get up. I found a program to help me, help blind people basically convert into the vision loss. And that's when I started finding myself, my blindness. That's when I started finding my blindness. But ultimately, when I first lost my sight, I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I didn't want to go anywhere because I didn't want to have to admit to people that I couldn't see. Like, I was depressed, I was embarrassed, I was like,
Mm,
and I don't know why me being ashamed was my first thought, but people are so cruel.
mm,
People are so cruel. So I was embarrassed, and I tried to hide it for a long time. Like, when I
mm-hmm.
did go out with my sister or something, we would try to play it off, right? But now I'm like, man, look, I can't see. Can you help me? Like, so I started adapting to me losing my sight or whatever. And I ended up going back to school. I finished school. And as I'm celebrating that, um, my dad ends up passing away as a malpractice in the hospital. Right. So when I find myself, I'm finally comfortable in my blindness. I'm knowing what God has for me. Because in that moment, after I started to gain myself with my vision loss, God was like, I'm about to use you. Like, he was like, I'm about to use you, and I'm about to make you the person that makes it comfortable for other people to be around somebody blind. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna make this cool. You're gonna make people listen. You're gonna make everybody adapt, right? So I started finding myself, and yeah, I ended up losing my dad. Um, and because it came out of nowhere, that kind of took me back into the depressed stage I was in when I lost my sight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I lost my sight, yes, but like my dad, like that was my heart. Like that's like losing a piece of your heart, like, you know what I'm saying, that you can't get back. And 4 months later, I end up losing my mother. And like after that, man, after that, me and God, we were at odds. Like we were at odds, cause I'm like in my mind, like, God, you're not supposed to work like this. You're not supposed to work. You're not supposed to, like, why are you doing all this and back to back to back? I can't even get over one thing without you throwing something else my way. And again, he whispered, this isn't for you.
That's really powerful, Jasmine. I mean, you're like the strongest woman that I know right now to have endured such hardship. You know, I get it. There have been times when I've been extremely angry with God.
Yes.
I mean, and it's crazy to be angry at the one that created you, that knows your end from the
Yes.
beginning, that knows around the corner. You can barely see into tomorrow, but he can see into your last breath. Like he knows everything because he created you.
Yep.
And that feeling of anger, I know it really felt lonely then for you to lose the one support system that you had, to just
Yep.
have that taken away from you. But what I want people to hear today, as Jasmine share her story and as Alicia share her story, you know, when you're going through something, a lot of times God would remind you that what you're going through is not really for you. Because a lot of times as human beings, we can become so selfish. You know, God, why me? I mean, look at her. She doing this.
Yep.
She just bought that. She driving this.
Yep.
She living there. I mean,
Yep.
we are so used to comparing ourselves with others. And we don't feel successful unless we match up to what society says success is.
Oh my God, yes.
But as I'm looking at you, Jasmine, I am looking at someone that is success, the epitome of success. And I'm just so happy that you agreed to be on this show today. My silence is not quiet. I mean, I've never been blind before. I go to sleep, but I can't imagine being asleep every time I'm awake. You know,
Exactly.
I don't know
That's
what
it is.
you've experienced. I still have my parents, so I don't understand that depth of loss. But I am certain that there are women and men that are tuned into Chit Chat with the Journey Sisters today that can say, "Man, Jasmine speaking to me." Man, I don't even know Alicia Alexander. I don't even know how this came up on my page, but they speaking right to me. Like, this is hitting me where I need to be hit the most. And hearing your story and how it's going to uplift people for years to come. Yeah, we're going to end this in maybe another 30 minutes or so, but your story will be perpetually told to a third and a fourth generation. As long as the internet still exists, someone is going to hear this story. Someone is going to be in a place where they're about to give up and perhaps even take their own life because life is just happening to them. They're getting up left, right, and center. God, I can't take it. It's not fair. Why are you doing this to me? And they're going to hear your story. They're going to hear Miss Alicia's story. They're going to hear my story, and they're going to say, wait a minute, God. She did do that too? Alicia, God, you mean like this is not the end for me?
Right.
So now let's fast forward. We hear your loss. We're right there with you on this journey. But now look at you today. Tell us some of the things that Jasmine does today. I mean, you are a phenomenal spoken word person. I hope that she can do one or two of those spoken words in here today, because this woman here, She off. Look at
Yes, she
off.
is. She is.
Let me be a little young for you guys. She off the hizzy for shizzy. She off the chain back. But I want you to
You know
fast
those words,
forward.
Dana.
Oh, come on, Alicia. We'll have a one-off later on. You know, she likes me to think that I'm old, but I'm really not old.
I
I'm
don't
really,
know what
really young.
cheesy is, but
I don't know what it means, honey. But that's what my kids say. Okay, so, but let's fast forward right now, Jasmine. What is Jasmine doing now? How are you impacting and changing the lives of others because of what God has allowed you to go through? How are you doing it?
Oh man, so when God decided that he was going to use me, like, man, I became a vessel, literally. So, and I need people to know I'm a spoken word artist, but I'm such an introvert. Like, and I do not, like, when God told me, you're going to stand on this stage and tell people about me, I was like, nah, you got me messed up. Like, like I'm not that person. But it's like when God talked through you, it's something you cannot not do. Like I couldn't rest. Like he was like, I'm finna send you something, and I need you to go deliver it. And I'm like, but I don't want to. I could not rest. I could not rest. And God was like, get up and go talk to my people, you know, and talk to them in a way that they're going to understand it. So what I do, basically, I take my story and spoken word, I kind of tell my story in a way that I would hope when I step off the stage, if I impact one person, that's all I need. That's like, I get one person per event that come up to me and tell me that I done changed their life. And I know that that's why I was supposed to be in that building.
And I like the fact that you said you're introvert. I had our viewers are very supportive. And I had a young lady said to me, Elisa, you need to stop telling people that you're introvert. But they don't understand that despite the fact that you're introvert, when God impressed something upon your heart,
yes,
no matter how silent you try to be, it's going to come out. You have to find a way to get it out. I used to have a chair in my room, and I'd put the chair down just for God. I say, you sit, we're going to talk. We're going to have a conversation here. And I would talk to the chair like I'm talking to God. And I would argue with him. And at the end of the conversation, all I can hear is, you're going to do what I tell you to do anyhow. Despite the fact I don't want to get up and speak, I have to do a couple of jumping jacks. I have to go up and down the stairs a few times, run to the restroom. He said, you're going to still talk because I have a work for you. There's no reason why I put you through what I put you through, why you have that experience and you don't think that you have a work to do. We all have a work to do. It's not, our experience is not for us. It's for somebody else. And he entrusts us with that experience because he knows that we will be the ones that can carry it through. We are the vessel. And if he gave it to somebody else, they will not do justice to it. Absolutely. So he gave it to me, he gave it to you. I cannot talk about playing basketball. I did a little thing in high school, but I can't talk about the experience transitioning from thinking I was going to go there and end up having to. It's hard when we're dealing with it. It's difficult when we're having that experience. It's difficult listening to other people's situation when we thought that should have been me.
Absolutely.
It's difficult. And it's also difficult watching someone else.
Oh my God.
With what we have been through or what we're going through and knowing and seeing them fall apart and knowing that we have a way that we can help and do nothing about it. And until you decide to get up and do something, he's going to wrestle with you. He's going to fight with you until you open up your mouth. Even if you just say one word, you could be speaking to an audience of 50. So if one person walk away being blessed, hearing something that makes a difference, we would have done justice.
Absolutely.
I like that, Alicia, that you said that you put a chair there for God.
I would argue with him all the time, but you don't listen to me.
When you get to that place where your back is against the wall and you need to have a conversation, listen, I want people to
Jada, it was no conversation. It was an argument.
Listen.
Argue.
Listen,
Listen.
Alicia, I get you. I
I'm
have
getting hot thinking about my arguments now.
listen, I have gone in the bathroom. I have gone in the bathroom after having a conversation with God. And I said, I'm going to go to the bathroom and don't come in here. I'm closing the door. I'm going to be in here by myself. And then I'll come out and talk back to you. And I've done it before. Like, how can you tell God, who is everywhere, not to come in the bathroom? And I'll be like, please, just stay out there. We'll have this. I just need to use the bathroom. I'll be back. But it's understanding that relationship, because what Jasmine and Alicia is talking about is having a one-on relationship with him. He is not just this tyrant that's sitting on the throne, that has a lightning rod in his hands, that's ready to strike you the minute you mess up. Because guess what? If truth be told, because he's God, he knew that you was going to mess up before he created you. As a matter of fact, he know I'm going to mess up 5 minutes from now. Mm-hmm. Okay? Yep. He ready to look at my tomorrow and say, what am I going to do with this woman? I'm like, God, I'm sorry, man. I know that I must be the most difficult daughter that you've ever had. And I have that conversation with him all the time. And I said, I'm sorry. I'm apologizing for tomorrow.
Absolutely.
But I want you to hear our hearts today as you listen to this show, how amazing the love of God is. That he'll take you through the desert. He will take you through the wilderness. He will take you through your pain and cause you to find your purpose. He will take you through and he'll make something beautiful. He'll take those ashes and he'll turn it into the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, you can gaze upon the beautiful Miss Alicia. You can gaze upon the beautiful and talented Miss Jasmine. And of course, you can gaze upon the beautiful of yours truly, darling. I mean, it's amazing the God that we serve. Yes. And if you guys don't believe that this lady is too legit to quit, I want you drop something on them, Jasmine. Just drop a little something on them. Because they don't believe me. Y'all don't believe me? Jasmine, just hit them with something, Jasmine.
I don't mind proving myself at all. Okay, I got you. So, since we're talking about, my vision loss, I'll go ahead and bless them with, like my healing poem from me losing my sight. It's called Sightless. Have you ever been laying in the bed and while your body is physically asleep, you kind of wander off into a dream where you really don't want to be? So afraid of what your mind is trying to get you to see, to the point where you're practically fighting with yourself, just begging to be free. Well, tell me that this is just one of those dreams. And that what appears to be reality really isn't what it seems. Because see, I'm having a hard time kind of coping with things. Because see, when they first informed me that I would be sightless, in the back of my mind, all I heard them telling me is, Jazz, your life is through. 22 years old, about to graduate from school, and you tell me I'm about to go blind. Man, what am I to do? See, all I remember was sitting there thinking to myself what I would have and could have done if ahead of time, Lord, I just would have knew. And they say that life's not fair, it's sad, but it's true, because at such a young age, I was forced to learn the ultimate truth, which is that the only way out was for me to go through. The heartache, the pain, the struggles, the rain, my doubts, my fear, my trials, and these tears. Yes, these tears that I spent many restless nights shedding, thinking that every dream that I wanted to accomplish could no longer be achieved, and everything that I had worked for was done in vain, because without sight, I just couldn't be. Doing what I wanted to do in life was impossible without sight, is what I had actually believed. But see, those thoughts there, those came from the old me. Now me, I'm sightless. And I'm cocky with it. I'm talking swagged out, cane pimp, walking with it. Because see, I learned that being visionless doesn't mean that it's over. You just have to simply learn to adjust. And as you adapt to your surroundings, you'll soon realize that you're no different from the rest. And no offense to the sighted. I mean, I'm not trying to start any mess. But the fact that I can live the exact same life as most of you just slightly boosts my ego. You call it conceited. I prefer blessed. Because me, I'm blinded by ambition, so I never see obstacles. Blinded by ambition, so I never see obstacles. Fighting in my blood, I was born to fight this battle. And anything that objects will be defeated by any means possible. Wait. I need to pause for a minute because I would like to take this poem biblical if I have your permission. See, if you turn with me in your Bibles to 2 Corinthians 5:7, you too will see that even the Bible tells us to walk by faith and not by sight. So this sightless life that I'm living was designed by Christ. Meaning that despite the fact that I was stripped from my vision, y'all, I still have my hearing. My heart beats in tune and my brain is still coherent. So why would I give up on life due to a little lack of vision when indeed God blessed me with 4 other senses? Yes, I'm sightless, but I use my hands to feel my way through life and place me exactly where it is I need to be. And I use my ears as inspiration because I'm making my point to prove people wrong when I hear them tell me what it is I can't be. With my nose, I no longer smell the fear of going through life not being able to see. And with my tongue, I do things like bless this mic and give y'all a taste of what it's like to be me. And in the future, we just happen to cross paths. No, please don't have sympathy for me. Because yes, I'm a sightless individual, but I indeed have more vision than most people that can see. Because see, my light will never be dim. Because even in my darkest days, God provides a way for me to always find him. Because yes, I'm sightless, but I'm also resilient. I mean, yeah, I'm sightless, but I'm very persistent. Breaking barriers and changing lives are my only 2 missions. And I promise I won't stop until I make y'all respect my vision. Now, if at any point in this poem, anybody's wondering who that girl up there spitting, just go on Instagram and follow me at Blinded by Ambition. Let's go.
Oh.
Oh, drop the mic. Boom. Oh my God, Jasmine. Oh.
I don't have nothing else to say.
She's just such.
If that did not have an impact on someone who's dealing with something, even the slightest, we handle things differently. There's only so much you can bear and there's only so much I can bear. But if that did not speak to somebody's psyche, somebody's heart, somebody's situation,
I don't know what else.
I'm speechless.
You need help. You need to call Alicia. You maybe need to walk through a process of forgiveness.
I'm truly speechless, and speechless in the sense that she's not broken. She might have been broken. She might have been a victim, and that's how she might have seen it. We might think of ourselves as victims, but in truth and in fact, we are thrivers. And we're thriving because we choose not to wobble in the situation. We choose not to lay down, to fall down and stay down. We have chosen with support, and not even just support from family and friends, with the fact that we know God, that we have chosen to do his work. No matter how Jasmine is using her spoken work, I've decided to use this platform to speak to individuals, to let them know there's hope. You have a purpose. You were not just created because God had some extra clay. And you know what? I have some extra clay, so let me just form my extra body over here. No, you were not created because he wanted to, I didn't have nothing to do this Saturday night, so let me make another person. You were created because there is a purpose for you. And it's sad if you would go through your entire life not even having the inclination that, 1, you have a purpose, and 2, taking the steps to fulfill that purpose. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, he's going to ask you, so what you did? What did you do? Did you try to impart any blessing on anybody? It doesn't have to be financial blessing. It did not have to be a physical blessing in the sense of you providing a car or a home for them. But did you give them at least one word to let them know I am alive, mm-hmm. that I am who I say I am.
A miracle.
They argue with me, they fuss with me, they put me in a certain situation, they put me in a box, they don't love me like they should, but I created you for a purpose, and I'm coming through whether or not you like it. Whether or not you give me permission, you're going to find it. You're going to do what I tell you to do. I cannot tell you the times I've argued with God I've sat in the car and argued, but he said, "You're going to do what I
Mhm.
tell you to do. You're going to use your
Mhm.
situation for the better." And Jasmine's words a while ago that are truly not her words, but words that were given to her to reach somebody, has left me, after saying all that, has left me speechless because I could not have done that.
I'm
I
so
could not.
inspired. I'm just really you inspiring me. She inspired herself, Jasmine. I'm really inspired by your story. And
Thank you.
that's my mission in life as a life fulfillment coach, to help people find their purpose. You know, it's so easy for us to complain about what we've been through, what we don't have. And a
Yep.
lot of us, God has called us to do certain
Jasmine answered.
things. I think she's still there. Are you still there, Jasmine?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, your camera
Okay.
went off. Okay.
Yeah, your camera went out. But
My
you
camera
know,
went off.
God has called us to do something, and we say, "Oh God, I ain't got no money. Oh God, how you expect for me to go to the world? I can't even speak. My speech ain't even all that good." But look how He used Jasmine.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
She has overcome all of those obstacles to now be used in such a powerful way. So that is so amazing, Jasmine. You've got to tell people
Thank
how they can reach you, how they can hear more of your inspirational stories, how they can book you. Just tell people. We like to give our guests the opportunity to say their last words. Maybe something else is on your heart that you can really, encourage someone, because this hour is never enough time, especially when
Yes. Yes.
Alicia and I are talking. Time just goes by, you know, and that so-called introvert, honey, baby, we talk about that another day. But honey, she will talk your ear off, Jasmine. Okay, but we want to hear from you. Okay, so I'm sorry. I do want to come back on the next show, Alicia. I know this is a little late in the movement to just plead my case. But you guys that are watching, make sure, please send a little message. Say, please bring Janelle back on the show. If you think that I should be back on Alicia's show, please let her know, because she about to kick me off the show, guys. But Jasmine, you've inspired us so much. You inspired
Thank you.
me. Just
Thank
tell
you.
our audience your last encouraging words and how they can find you. Blinded by Ambition. Tell us,
Yes.
please.
On Instagram, Blinded by Ambition. On Facebook, Jasmine Duffy. Duffy is spelled Duffey. My if you want to see my silly side, my TikTok is also Blinded by Ambition. Like, I just do silly stuff on there though. And I want people to know that I am in the process of dropping a inspirational clothing line, and it will be dropping very soon. So I'm gonna look to you guys for support. Also, as of like a week ago, I'm an author. I collaborated with 10 other uh women of blindness, and we all went in on a book to tell our story. So if you're interested in that, please, hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I'll reply. And my last words is, man, like, when you go through things, like your only option is to figure it out. Like, please do not let life like beat you up, because you'll be 75 years old saying to yourself, I wish I would have. Like, there are no limitations, and whatever you want to do in life, like, it's always a way. You just got to figure out that way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
Janelle.
Well, guys, you can find me on Facebook, my name, Janelle Drayton, or you can find me on She Inspired Women. I'm on Instagram as Janelle Drayton as well, and I'm also on TikTok, Lady Soul 242. I'm definitely going to be following you, Jasmine. You know, I want to see, it all, because I want to see all of that God is doing in your life and how He's elevating you. And definitely, Alicia and I we are big on supporting our sisters. We are big on supporting our own. So definitely when you drop that clothing line, honey, this plus size figure, come on now. I hope you're making it for plus size, Jasmine. Don't be making them size two clothing that don't fit me, okay? Because I ain't
Oh
wearing
no.
size two.
I
Yes.
have everybody's size.
Okay, good, good. So we definitely want to support you. We want to support the book. I know Alicia is working on some big things. I also have a book that I released in September of last year called Emerge, The Remaking of Me. It's on Amazon. I got music out there. I mean, just hit me up if you want to know more, if you want to book a coaching session with me, a private coaching session, you want to discover your purpose, you want to get to the next level, you want to get to the better version of yourself, then I'm definitely the one to contact. So reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you guys.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for being
Yes,
here.
ma'am. Thank y'all for
But
having me. Thank you
you
so
are
much.
so welcome. An hour is never long enough. Your story is definitely one that resonates not just in regards to the blindness, but your experience is one that I'm sure somebody can relate to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, our stories are all different and we're all on a journey. And the journey is easier if we work together.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
journey is easier if we're intentional that it's not about us, it's about making a difference. And not a difference to glorify us, but to glorify our Creator. So this journey is definitely not just for women alone, but for men. Because guess what? They are human too. They have
Mhm.
experiences. And we might
Mhm.
not hear about them because they're men. They keep
Yep.
it to themselves. But at
Mhm.
the same time, their experience is just as real. I am thankful for our audience, our viewers. A lot of them might not comment, make any comments on screen, but they definitely reach out afterwards.
Mhm.
And again, it's a process. They have stories to tell too. They have experiences, but it's a one-on-one situation versus trying to tell the world. And at some point in time, they will get comfortable where they feel, you know what, I need to be on here and say something too. I
Yep.
need to voice the way I feel. I need to help somebody. I need to make a difference. I am your
Yeah.
forgiveness coach. Again, forgiveness is an acquired taste. It is necessary. It is intentional. And for me, forgiveness is what freed me. Forgiveness got me to the place where I found my voice back. And if I can forgive, I'm not saying anybody else can, but the fact that I can forgive and I know my forgiveness did not come from me, you can as well. It was
Mhm.
impart. He can impart it in us. And I like to say, God is our ultimate example. Even in his dying moment, at the end of it all, he says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do."
Mhm.
If he could have said anything else at that point in time. He chose to leave those words with us as an example. So you can as well. Don't know what your word will be, don't know what your situation will, don't know how you'll get to the point where you have attained your freedom and your freedom to live on purpose. But it is all possible if we take the time to find and to understand that we are not our creator. God is our creator. And he loves us regardless of our situation. He loves us regardless of the fact that we don't love him like we should,
Absolutely.
because we don't. He loves us regardless of the fact that we are so ungrateful, because we are.
Yes.
Because in a few
Mhm.
minutes, we're going to mess up again. And then we're going to run back
Yep.
and ask for forgiveness.
Yep.
But in our silence, my silence is not quiet. In our silence and going through our situation, we as individuals just here have learned to grow in that space, to grow in that quiet where we can make a difference. So my silence is not quiet. I might be silent, I might be under the bushel for a minute, but it's not quiet. It will
Mhm.
emerge because in that quiet moment, that's when we're blossoming. We're growing so that we can make that difference. I thank our audience for commenting. We had some beautiful comments here. It was powerful. Jasmine, you're amazing.
Thank you.
Janelle, you are amazing. Alicia,
you.
I am amazing.
Yes.
You have to give that affirmation. We are
Absolutely.
worth it. You have to know your worth. Because
Absolutely.
if you don't, you will settle for anything and not realize that we need to keep our eyes on the prize. And despite the fact that we have these traumas in our life, our traumas are not negativities. You might look at it as she blind. You know, what can she know? It's not negative.
Mhm.
She got abused. It must have been her fault. No, she's not. She got pregnant at 7. No, it's not. It's not negative. It's meant to make us stronger and to make somebody else know that, hey, we've been there, done that.
Yep.
It's not easy. We're going through it still because we're not perfect. Because there are days when I just want to go, you know what? Why am I doing this?
Forget it.
But I'm here on a journey, and I'm on a journey with my sisters. Thank you
Absolutely.
guys for joining us. Thank you again,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Jasmine.
Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure being here. See you guys next month. Oh, yes, you can follow me on Facebook as my name, Alicia Alexander, and on my page, She Forgave. And I'm also on Instagram as She Forgave One. And if you cannot reach any of these young ladies, feel free to reach out to me, and I will definitely get your information to them. Thank you for your support. Thank you for viewing, and we see you guys next month. Have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful month of April. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.